Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be showing you how to remotely access your network using Twingate. So Twingate were nice enough to sponsor this video, so thanks for that. But today we're going to be utilising their tool to obviously gain remote access into our home network, or you can even do this at a business. So I will speak more about Twingate and what it does and how it works later in this video, but first we'll obviously get set up. So you can see I'm on the Twingate website, twingate.com. At the top right you'll get a sign in button. So if you click the sign in button at the top right, you'll go to a page just like this. So you can see you can get a few different options on how to sign up. I'm going to sign up with Microsoft. Again, you can use Google, GitHub or LinkedIn as well, but I'm just using Microsoft. So if I click sign up with Microsoft and then select my account on Microsoft, then you get a welcome Harvey. Tell us a bit more about yourself. Obviously work email. If you're using a personal email, again you can just use the Google sign on, and then that should sign you up. But if I go to company name, again HSVE remote network, let's call it, number of employees less than 100, and then click on finish signing up, we've got 3 steps. So we can run CLI commands. I'm going to show you that in a moment. If I click on next, you've obviously heard it on YouTube, so obviously I'm going to select YouTube because you've heard it from us. And then I've got a network name of HSV remote network, and the network URL is going to be hsv remote network.twingate.com. So if you're happy with that, click on create network. Of course you'd set your own network name, etc. And then once you're at this screen, we're ready to move on. So there's a few things we need to do on our server. I'm using a Proxmox server, but again a bare metal Linux server, it'll work just the same. So on your terminal, on your server, you're going to do apt get update, get updates, and then do apt get install docker.io and docker compose. Commands will be in the link in the description below. And then we're going to install Docker. So there's a few different ways to deploy Twingate. We're going the Docker method today, but you can just install it on bare Linux. I just like containerizing things, so we're using Docker, but again there's other ways of doing this. So Docker's installed, so if we go back to the Twingate admin interface and click on add remote network, the location is going to be on premises for most of you unless you're using AWS, and then I'm just going to call this home for my remote network. If I click add remote network now and then go to remote networks, click on that, it says one remote network, and then we've got home. So if I click on home, we've got 2 connectors. I'm just going to be installing one today, so I'm going to remove the second one, but I do recommend having 2 connectors. So on connectors, you can see we've got a random generated name. If I do the 3 dots, edit, we're just going to call this home connector. Click confirm changes. If you go to the 3 dots again, you can get status emails. I'd recommend keeping this ticked. It's actually really informational, so if your server goes down or Twingate senses that your connector's offline, it'll ping you an email if it's been off for over 360 seconds. So if I click on the connector now, we're ready to actually start deploying it using these different methods. Before we do that, I'll just explain more about what Twingate is and how it works. So how does Twingate work? So Twingate uses an encrypted tunnel that allows secure access without port forwarding to establish peer-to-peer connections with your protected resources without obviously requiring to open up ports on your router, which is great if you don't have access to your router, or if you don't feel safe opening ports, because again it can be really dangerous opening up ports. So how a tunnel works basically, it wraps around your existing internet traffic, so it sends out like normal data, and then this data will go to Twingate. So you can see the Twingate client application. So that is sat on your macOS device, for example. This will then get relayed to Twingate, and then Twingate will authenticate you, obviously using your auth, which if I just switch this to, for example, Google, so the controller then authenticates with the Google SSO, and then gives you a device authentication, and then it relays that to the remote network, and then you establish an encrypted tunnel. So you can see a few big companies use this, and it's a real great way how to access your resources. Again, it's not just for personal use, it's more for business use, but we can actually use that to our advantage because it does come with some really great features, even in the free version. So regarding pricing, of course we're on the starter plan today. Again, you get a 14-day free trial, and after that it's only $10 per user per month. So that's just an average, for example, Netflix subscription, so it's not that much money. But on the free edition you can see up to 5 users, 1 admin and 10 remote networks. So we're going to get on to the next part now, where we're going to actually configure Twingate, get the connector installed, and then we will go to obviously adding our resources and connecting to a remote PC through RDP on a different network. So let's get into it. So I hope you enjoyed learning more about Twingate. Of course, if you need any more help, obviously consult Twingate on the help, and obviously just ping a comment below and I will try my best to answer it. But we're ready to deploy Twingate. So again, we're using Docker. You can deploy it on main Linux, you can use Kubernetes with Helm, and you can also deploy it in Common Cloud. We'll click on Docker, scroll down, and then we're just going to click Generate Tokens. So to do this, we're going to authenticate, again keeping the security high, which is great. If I click sign in with Microsoft, and then select my Microsoft account for single sign-on. If you scroll down, you can see we've got a command. If we click copy, go back to our host, let me clear the screen. If I paste this, press enter, this will then pull the Twingate connector Docker image. Again, depending on your speed of your network, it could take quite a while. But you can see we've got a random generated text, a UUID, that means that the container is deployed successfully. So if I go back to networks, you can see Home's got a little green dot next to it, which means that Home's online. You can see the Home connector is now connected. So we're ready to start adding resources. So for the resources, we're just going to be using a Windows 11 machine that we're going to RDP into from our device. So let me get that set up, and then I'll show you how to install Twingate. So before we add our resource, I recommend downloading your client app. To do this, if we go to the top and click on download, and then if we select our endpoint here, so I'm on Windows, if I click on that, go to get.twingate.com, scroll down, you can see here Windows is here, sorry. We'll click on download for Windows, that'll then download at the top, and then we're going to run this, so let's run it. So if I click on Twingate Windows Installer, click on yes on the UIC, accept the agreements if you agree to them, and click on install. It'll then install Twingate. So once it's installed, it should open up and ask us for a Twingate network. So you can enable diagnostics and logs. I quite like those, so I'm going to click yes. It says restart your system. I'm going to do that now, so just give us a moment. So I've restarted my system and then typed in Twingate to open the application. You can see it's on my desktop too. I double click on that. A window will appear like this. You can see we've got a few features again: remote work secured, secure, and obviously browse anonymously. So if we click on continue, and then we're looking for our network ID. So if we go back to Chrome and then go onto the Twingate admin, we go to network, you can see it's here. So it's hsvremotenetwork.twingate.com. So if we enter hsvremotenetwork.twingate.com is already there. If I click on join network, and then it should open up single sign-on again. Sign in with Microsoft, and then click on the account that you want to use. Again, you don't have to sign in with Microsoft. It says authenticated. You can now close this page. So at the bottom in our system tray, if we right click on Twingate, you can see we've got 0 resources, but we're logged in. So if we go back to the Twingate web UI and then refresh the page, we can see 1 active device, and you can see, here we go. So our device is there now. You can see we've got all information about it. It's great. So we'll add a resource. Again, to do this, you're going to need the IP address of the device. So I'm just going to show you how to find that basically. So here we are on the client device on Windows 11. So this is the one that we're going to be connecting to. So this is on an isolated network on 10.0.20 network. If we go to the task manager and look at Ethernet, you can see we're on 192.168.1.58. So that's the IP address. If we go to remote desktop and click on remote desktop settings, we want to make sure it's on. So if we click on, confirm, this will then enable remote desktop. So we're noting down the IP address here because this is the one we're going to put in the Twingate web UI. So if we go to the Twingate web UI and then go to where it says 0 resources, if we click on add resource, select the home remote network, give it a name, so I'm going to call it home PC just as an example, and then we're going to put in that IP address 192.168.1.58. again, double check it if you're unsure which is correct. You can narrow it down by ports. I'm just going to leave it, but you can give it an alias, so I'm just going to call it homepc.local, for example. This can be anything really. If we click on create resource, assign this to everyone. You can have different groups. I won't get into that today. If you want to see more about Twingate, again, drop a like and I'll do more on it. If I click on grant access, if we go to the system tray again and have a look at the Twingate, it still says 0 resources. If we click log out and disconnect, it'll then show an icon. If we click log back in again, then it'll go through SSO. So give it a moment. It'll open up the web page to authenticate us, and then the updated resource should be there. So if you're on a different network, of course, this will be a great test. I'm authenticated now. We'll look at the system tray. You can see home PC is there. So if we copy that address, open up RDP, paste that address in there, click on connect. You can see it's asking for credentials. Let me grab them, one moment. So if I put them credentials in, press enter, you can see we get a warning message. This is an RDP warning message. We click on yes. This will then open up an RDP session. So you can see we're remoted in now to my home network on the PC. Again, this will be your PC. This is a bland Windows install that I've just set up. But you can see we're remotely accessed and we can use it as if we were on the network. So we can add more resources. We can add a NAS. We can add anything that's web-based. So you can add your network switch if you want to remotely manage that. You can add pretty much everything. Again, thank you Twingate for sponsoring us, and we hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and of course visit the link in the description to visit the Twingate website and get yourself started. Thanks ever so much for watching. Goodbye.